Hello and welcome back to Farmstead MTG. Today we have another match from the Farmstead 9 tournament. We are in round number 3. Let's take a look at the first deck. The first deck is Kjell's deck. So what is this? This is something like the deck, but more a budget version. He has the GMD Tome and the white power, which means for Salt Plowshare, for disenchant and a balance. He has Ivory Tower, some counter spells, a bunch of restricted cards, and lots of dual lands and factory. So yeah, looks pretty solid. He hasn't played old school for that long, so he doesn't have a full playset of power. But this is a nice version that fits our meta game here pretty well. And his opponent, his name is Andres. He plays a black and red deck with a Dew Summon Spectre, Underworld Dreams, Sinkhole, and some red burn spells. I think he has Mox Jet in his current build, and I think he has red Elemental Blast in his sideboard. So this picture is not totally up to date, but it is pretty close of what he is playing. Alright, let's take a look at the game. Game number 1, you have Kjell with his control deck to the left, and Andres with his black-red aggro deck to the right. See some 2 sinkholes, I think, and lightning bolt. Okay, Kjell starts out with a sinkhole into an ivory tower, and Andres casts a sinkhole on his own, using it to take care of the other sinkhole. And that fits his strategy nicely, since he have 2 sinkholes in his hand, so he can really go after the mana of the control player. Kjell plays a Tundra, gaining some life with the ivory tower. Andres just play a swamp and pass, but we know next turn he can play a sinkhole. Okay, I can see a balance in Kjell's hand, also a Follower Stone, a factory, yeah, lots of land. He plays a Follower Stone, comes a bad land into a sinkhole on the Tundra. So he has 5 cards in hand now, going down to 4 because he plays a Misha's Factory. Let's see if I think he has an Underworld Dreams in hand also, but he chooses to go for the sinkhole, taking out the swamp. Yeah, looks like he has 5 lands in his hand. So he attacks with his factory. You can see a shatter in his hand. And I think there's... okay, he uses the shatter on the Follower Stone. Really going after the mana. But unfortunately for the black player, his opponent is only drawing lands, so he plays a Soul Ring of his own. So is it time for Underworld Dream, perhaps? He plays an Underworld Dreams and just pass the turn. Kjell has 3 lands and a balance in his hand. So looks like he's thinking about something. Oh, wow, he's attacking with this factory. And I don't think he has a lightning bolt or a shatter. I think he has a fireball. But if Hjell chooses to block, he can take out the factory, but he doesn't. I might be wrong, but I don't think he has a shatter or a lightning bolt. So he's straight up bluffing. Okay, so Hjell did draw a fireball, but he's choosing not to play any more lands, because he wants to have a lot of cards in hand for his ivory tower. Andres casts a demonic tutor. So perhaps a mind twist. Let's see if it keeps attacking with his factory. Ooh, a black lotus. So he's using it right away, and he activates his factory and he plays a Jusam. So maybe he searched for the Jusam. And he attacks again. So will the control player block? Nope, he takes the damage. So he's on 21. Of course he can afford to take some damage, since he is gaining some life because of the ivory tower. Balance and a fireball. So he has 3 lands and so 4 lands. So now he has 6 mana, so he could take out the Jusam with a fireball, or he could cast a balance, but Andres only has 1 card in hand, so that would mean he's losing his entire hand, so that's not a good option. He goes for the fireball, taking out Jusam. It's so hard to play with ivory tower, because you want to cast your spells and play your lands, but if you do that, you don't gain any life. So I always find these choices very hard. Okay, so Andres casts his 3rd sinkhole and attacks with his factory. And he keeps that 1 card in hand to what is called to represent a bolt or a shatter. So I think there's 4 land and a balance. And a balance isn't a good solution at the moment. So he has 5 cards in hand. Okay. Once again he attacks with his factory. I think Andreas's last card is a fireball. So that's some ballsy play to attack with a factory. 1 more turn. And he plays a Hypnotic Spectre. So Hjell is up to 10 life. I think he's regained and he draws a swamp. Oh wow, no, he has 6 lands and 1 balance in hand. And if he casts balance to take care of the Spectre, he loses 5 cards. So that's not a good option. Ooh, and there's a library. But if he plays the library, then he'll have to discard when the Spectre attacks, and that will keep him off library range. But I guess you have to play it and hope to take care of the Spectre. So 6 cards. Right, will he choose to continue? He stops attacking with his factory, only attacks with a Spectre. So now he must discard 1 card at random. So there are 5 lands and 1 balance. What will it be? Of course, it was the balance. So he's stuck with the 5 lands. Wow, he's flooding out pretty badly. He's down to 8 life. Where comes the last? Yes, it was the fireball. Oh, so he was bluffing the entire time, attacking over the factory. Well played, mister. Alright, game number 2. So Kjell to the left is on the play. He has looks like he has mulligan to 6. He has library in hand, but he goes for the Tundra and the Mox and the Soul Ring into an Ivory Tower. So now he only has 2 cards left, a counter spell and a library. So Andres use a strip mine to take care of the Tundra. It's an interesting choice for the control player here. If you play the library and wait 2 turns to get that extra card, or if you just play out your fast mana and hope for the best. So he didn't play a land this turn, so he's really trying to get some cards in hand to gain some life. He did draw an artifact for 1 mana. It's Felden's Cane, I think. So we're still not playing any lands. But Andreas is not pressuring him, so he has a pretty slow start as well. Nothing happens, and they're clapping. Okay. Oh, I see a Gemini Tome and the counter spell. The Library Ellen Felden Scale. Okay. So now at least he can start to draw some extra cards. Dark Ritual into a Jusam. That's cool. He did some good work in the last game. So yeah, he has to start playing out his land. So he activated the Gemini Tome, and I think it was a land. For 5, put Kjell down to 15. Ooh, and a Gloom from the sideboard. Oh, that's not good for the control player. Because he is really looking for that Salt of Plowshare, but now it costs 4 mana. And he did draw a Regrowth, but he only has a land in his graveyard, so once again, here comes the Jusam. Activate the book. Draw another card. Down to 10 life. Getting 2 life from the Ivory Tower. I did draw a Disenchant, but he needs a removal spell. He has another Game Day tome in his hand also. So such a clunky draw from the control player here. I feel a bit bad for him. And a shatter on the ivory tower. So he uses a counter spell, but he takes 1 damage from the City of Brass, but he still has 6 life, so he can survive. Yeah, and gaining 2 with the ivory tower. And he did draw our Brain Geyser. So looks like he has to cast a big Brain Geyser this turn and hope to find an answer the next. So really not any good options here. You just have to hope your opponent doesn't have any burn spell. So he's going for the City of Brass. So he can cast the Brain Geyser for, let's see how much he's going for, 3. He needs a Sword to Blows here. There's a Disenchant, a counter spell, and another counter spell. Yep, this is not going well. So he discard the Disenchant. He has 7 cards in hand and 7 life. Use some attacks for 5, puts him down to 2, and there's a Lightning Bolt. Alright, that was round 3. Andres with his black-red aggro deck won 2-0. And let's have a little quiz. So I'll put up the control player's opening hand in the second game. You can see there's a green box, a land, library, counterspell, Soul Ring, and the ivory tower. So you have mulligan to 6 and you're on the play, and you're facing a deck with Sinkhole. What's the play? Do you play your library and wait 2 turns and to draw an extra card? Or do you just spew out the hand like he did? Let me know in the comment. And speaking about Ivory Tower, I like the card and I think it's cool, but it's so hard to know what to do. Because you want to play out your lands, you want to play your spells, but yeah, I always find it difficult. So yeah, let me know. Alright, that was it for me today. Take care.